are here for another Made Local today at the Dakota Garden Expo at the Bismarck Event Center, which is kind of the greatest thing for me because instead of me going out to visit people for Made Locals, they have all come to me. Actually here at our booth here at the Bismarck Event Center. And with me right now is Tom Meier of Tree Rose for You, number 4, letter U.
Correct.
Tree Rose for You from Bismarck, and you are northwest of Bismarck located, but people are going to love to hear what you have to offer because you have so many great services that you do at Tree Rose for You.
Yeah, we grow, sell, and plant trees. So we're also a wholesale nursery for a lot of your local landscapers. So that means the folks that are doing your landscape work for you are coming to us to get their trees, their shrubs, perennials. We do perennial grasses.
Oh, wow.
We've got sod. And then, of course, we do planting services for anything that we sell.
And how does one get into a business like Tree Rose for You? And why? And you got to tell me why you called it Tree Rose for You too. That's an interesting name.
So we kind of fell into it. My wife and I, we both grew up on farms, and we did a lot of planting trees on the farms. And then when we got a home of our own and property of our own, we wanted trees planted around that, and we did that on our own. And then we got a lake property, and we wanted trees planted there. And I decided there had to be a better, faster way to do it than digging holes and planting them by hand. So
there is a better, faster way to do
there
that?
There is.
Okay.
In fact, so I ended up building some machinery that I could pull behind my small tractor to plant trees and to lay the fabric, just like the Soil Conservation District does, but on a smaller scale so that we could get into some smaller properties, residential properties, small commercial properties, that kind of stuff. But we did it just for our own purposes. And then we ended up having family that wanted stuff done, and then pretty soon they have neighbors, and then pretty soon the Soil Conservation's calling us and asking if they can send people our way. So we started a business called Tree Rose for You.
Fantastic. How long ago was that?
That would have been 5 years ago.
Okay.
And we specifically just did rows of trees.
Okay.
For you.
Okay.
But as we went on, we started getting more and more requests for other trees, larger trees, shrubs. So we started carrying those, and then pretty soon we had some landscapers that were coming to us looking for stuff, and then we started carrying perennials and perennial grasses. A landscape customer of ours in northwestern North Dakota, right by Williston, actually had a sod farm where they grow mineral sod.
Wow.
In western North Dakota, which is like one of the toughest environments
I can't
ever
imagine. Yeah,
to grow
what
anything.
kind of soil do you have to have?
Oh, yeah. And
Wow.
So the sod that they grow there is it's so tough, it's so durable, it's grown in western North Dakota, so you know it's made for our area.
Right.
But they were a customer of ours as a landscaper buying trees from us.
Oh, for heaven's
and
sake.
then they asked if we would be their distributor here in Bismarck for their sod. So we sell sod now.
What a great story, Tom.
yeah,
That's such a cool story. So you basically just started doing one thing and then just expanded and expanded as need.
We just started doing stuff that we loved, and that we were good at it because we loved doing it, and more stuff came out of that.
Well, talk about some of the things you don't do. What are things that you don't do?
So we don't trim trees.
Okay.
We don't remove trees, and we don't move trees.
Okay. But you can plant trees.
Absolutely.
And all different sizes of trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything that we grow or sell, we will also plant.
Perfect. So I'm looking through your site and I'm looking at this stuff. You have a great FAQ page. It is
Thank you.
super cool. Lots of questions that pop into your mind. Go to the frequently asked questions or FAQ page on his website, which, by the way, I'm going to give it right away now, and I'll give it later again too, but it is Tree Rose, number 4, letter U, for you, Tree Rose for You, and .com. And the FAQ page has so many. I mean, I'm sure that you get tons and tons of questions, and that's a great way to address
Absolutely.
them. Right.
Yeah, and I think it's great to be informed. I'm an engineer by trade, so information is my commodity. I love information. I always want more information. So I try to put as much information out there on their website as we can. I try to make sure that my customers are all as informed as I can have them be. And I think it just helps make a better product and get a better result.
This garden show is a great place for you to be, really, because
Absolutely.
then you have the booth literally right next to ours, right near the entrance,
the
which is a really great spot. I mean, it's awesome. Good foot traffic, and who is your main customer and who is your least common customer? So are you farmers and ranchers? Or?
Our main customer is the local landscapers. That's where most of our business goes as a wholesale nursery. We've got some great, right behind us is S&P Landscaping, a couple other customers that we've got in town, Cityscapes Landscaping, Rocks and Blocks Landscaping, Gehring Construction, just to name a few, but there's a lot of local landscapers. That's definitely where the bulk of our business is.
So you work with landscapers, or you can do the whole thing yourself, or how does that work?
We can do it either way. So we have plenty of times where landscapers have their jobs. They need some plants. They get their plants from us, and all done. There are times where they need large trees planted, and they just don't have the equipment or the expertise or whatever it may be to do that, and we can do that for them. And they do all the other landscaping with your rocks and your dirt work and that kind of stuff. Or if they've got a large number of trees.
Well, that was my next question too, is like how many would be a large number of trees that if you're what was the largest?
It would depend on the tree.
Okay.
But we've planted, when we're doing rows, we've planted in the thousands.
Really?
Wow. On sites. But we'll also come out and plant a single tree. If you just need one tree in your front yard
we were talking about that with a friend too. We were talking about okay, if you had one tree and you wanted to plant one tree. And so on your site, again, you have this whole page that is amazing that talks about each one. They're all alphabetical, and you can look through all the different trees and what they look like in the fall. And then there's a description of all of that information on there too. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, favorite tree. You can't ask that. I don't.
I know, right?
I don't want to hurt the feelings of any of the other trees, but I don't know.
Do you have one that's really popular with people in North Dakota?
One that actually just came up from a family member that's doing a project in downtown Bismarck is an Amur cherry. Yeah. So it is a colder weather cherry. It's not a choke cherry.
Okay.
It's a cherry, but it's a tart cherry, and I guess they had this cherry tree 100 years ago. When Bismarck was new, and this house and it's by a church downtown was brand new, and the house was famous for the cherry tree out there. Well, it's no longer there, but they're remodeling in the home, and they want to bring that back as part of the nostalgia of where it is. And it is a really cool tree. The bark on it has kind of a copper color.
Oh, wow.
It's exfoliating, so it peels away from the base, and then it does get some nice kind of white flowers in the spring. It gets some small tart cherries.
Nice.
Then later on in the summer. It's a really cool tree.
Very cool. Now, see, I'm glad I asked that. You were like, I do like the idea though that you are able to find trees that will work in this climate, and that's got to be really important, right? I mean, I know that I would probably kill it if I chose a tree, but you can give suggestions on hardy trees or trees that will work in North Dakota.
Yes, and sometimes we get requests for trees that really aren't going to work very well here, but we're usually able to come up with some kind of alternative that still gives them everything they're looking for in that tree, but in something that's cold hardy for North Dakota, that's going to tolerate the drought conditions that we have in North Dakota, and then our soil that we have in North Dakota. So it's not just about looking at the zones on the zone map.
Right.
You know, there's other factors
There's other
to
things.
consider.
Yep.
But yeah,
High
everything
winds.
that
I mean, we have so many different conditions. I mean, harsh winters, drought. Everything. You have to be pretty hardy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very interesting stuff. Very cool. I love it. This site is a terrific site.
Well, thank you.
You have irrigation and weed control, and I like the fact that you also offer maintenance essentially too.
Yeah. So we can put drip irrigation on anything that we do, anything that we plant. As we just talked about, drought conditions in North Dakota. You know, if you're putting an investment in on trees, you want to make sure that they're going to survive and thrive, and they're going to grow, and they're going to be there for many years to come to enjoy. And drip irrigation is one way to do that, to make sure they get the water they need. Weed control, which you mentioned, is another thing. You want to make sure that you can take care of the competing vegetation in the area, so that your trees are getting the water and the nutrients and the area that they need to survive and grow tall, instead of having that stolen by the weeds.
Right. Amazing stuff. The website, as I said, I would highly recommend. Take a look at it. It is called treerose4u.com. Tree Rose for You, from in northwest of Bismarck.
Yes.
On 1804.
Correct.
And Tom Meier, this is a really cool business, and I am so glad that I got to meet you and learn all about this stuff. The website is terrific, treerose4u.com, and I like your logo too, I'm not going to lie. I think it's really cool. I like it. It's very cool. So thank you very much for doing another Made Local with us here, and I hope you have a very successful, it's the Dakota Garden Expo.
Yes.
Have you been to this before?
We have. We try to do this every year, and we try to get a little sponsorship in it and do a little extra. I think this year we're sponsoring the kids area, the kids zone.
Fantastic. Fun stuff. All right. Tree Rose for You, another Made Local on BEK.